What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners for today's 6-game NBA main slate, courtesy of Osmo.com and presented by Superdraft. Got ourselves 6 games today with a lot of questionable status, a lot of guys out already, so we got a lot to talk about over the course of this video. So let's get the power of positivity in the air, and right now, please hit that like button. And if you want to win a free month of Osmo Plus, like the video and comment your top value play according to Draftkings salaries down below. We do have a winner from Friday's video who'll announce a bit later on, but right now, if you want to join that person at the pay window, like this video and comment your top value play down below. With guys' statuses changing as I'm making this video, we've got no time to waste, especially today on the Four Corners. Let's get right into our first corner of the top owned plays, and Christian Wood in a game at Utah, where it's 103.3 implied points for Detroit. Wood has 68% expected ownership on Draftkings, while he has 42% on FanDuel. Wood has seen minutes alongside Andre Drummond lately, and it seems hard for him to not get mid-20s minutes with Markieff Morris out and Blake Griffin doubtful, despite a tough matchup with Utah. A higher price top owned play looks like Bam Adebayo in a game at Washington, where there's 117.8 implied points for Miami. Bam has 34% expected ownership on Draftkings, while he has 44% on FanDuel. Adebayo had a down game last time out versus Philly thanks to foul issues, but he's too cheap for this matchup versus Washington, with over 46.75 fantasy points in 8 out of his last 11 games. And Bam's former teammate Hassan Whiteside versus Phoenix also looks like he'll be highly owned, with 117.5 implied points for Portland. Whiteside has 50% expected ownership on Draftkings, while he has 25% on FanDuel. Whiteside's price has dropped to illogical levels on Draftkings in particular, but he's been remarkably consistent with over 41.75 fantasy points in 5 out of his last 6 games. And now into our next corner of some of the top value plays on the slate, starting with Aaron Baines in a game at Portland, where there's 113.5 implied points for Phoenix. Baines has seen steady run, and his size will be needed against Hassan Whiteside, but he's only been over 25 fantasy points once in his last 10 games, so he may actually look like better value than he really is. Another top value today looks like Carmelo Anthony in that game versus Phoenix. There was 117.5 implied points for Portland. Carmelo has had a few down games, but his usage and minutes remain steady, with him likely more appealing on FanDuel, where small forward is a particularly dire position. And our last top value guy looks like Goran Dragic in that game at Washington, where it's 117.8 implied points for Miami. Dragic has a 28% assist rate and steady 25% usage on the year in a pace-up spot against Washington, where he'll get easy buckets and should be able to create for others enough to justify his low price point. And now for our next corner, here are some of the other top plays on the slate, starting with Spencer Dinwiddie in a game at Minnesota, where there's 111.3 implied points for Brooklyn. Dinwiddie has been down the last 2 games, but he's maintained over a 37% usage rate in a decently paced game against Minnesota's bad 108 defensive rating. Another top play looks like Damian Lillard in that game versus Phoenix. There was 117.5 implied points for Portland. Lillard has over 47.25 fantasy points in 5 out of his last 6 games, as opportunity and usage seem the most secure out of Portland's group other than Hassan Whiteside. And our last of the top plays looks like Jimmy Butler in that game at Washington, where there's 117.8 implied points for Miami. It's possible that Butler lets up, with the other Miami players likely to get very easy buckets whether Bradley Beal is in or out, but overall Butler's price seems too low, with him able to score at will and pad stats with easy assists and boards against Washington. And now for our last corner, here are some of the lower owned dart throws I'm looking at today, starting with Andre Drummond in that game at Utah. There's 103.3 implied points for Detroit. Drummond had 83.5 fantasy points in an overtime game against Rudy Gobert last year, and he'll get the chance to do whatever he wants with Blake Griffin expected out if Gobert doesn't marginalize him. A cheaper dart throw I'm looking at is Duncan Robinson in that game at Washington, where there's 117.8 implied points for Miami. Robinson shoots 7.13 pointers per game with a 47% hit rate, and he'll see some alarmingly easy looks against Washington at a cheap price that offers upside if he does heat up. And my last of the dart throws is Evan Fournier in a game versus Atlanta, where there's 109.3 implied points for Orlando. Fournier is a 1.1 fantasy point per minute player with 27% usage when sharing court time with Nikola Vucevic when Aaron Gordon is out, and Atlanta will give up easy looks with the potential for a blowout, really the only major risk here. So that's what I'm seeing so far for today's 10-game slate. So right now, please hit that like button, and if you want to win that free month of Osmo Plus, like the video and comment your top value play down below. In Friday's video with Giannis out, it ended up being Ersan Ilyasova top value play, and everybody guessed him, so I ran a random number generator, and the winner is this guy right here, Ulria Beckham. So Ulria, email me at chris@osmo.com to collect your prize right now. And as always, the free month of Osmo Plus comes courtesy of Superdraft. So right now, head over to superdraft.io. They're the presenting sponsor of the Four Corners. They're also offering you $20 free with any deposit of $100 or more. So right now, go to superdraft.io and use the promo code OSMO, AWESEMO, for $20 free instantly. We're also on the tail end of our 8 crazy days of giveaways right now on the @Osmo_com Twitter handle. So go over there right now and check out the pinned tweet to see what you can win today. And if you haven't yet, go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. My personal podcast came out Saturday over the weekend, where I talked some Star Wars, talked about you, talked about a lot of things that are important in my life. So check out what I'm doing and subscribe to that podcast right now on my Twitter at Chris Spags. I'll be back on Live Before Lock later today with the Chubster Josh Engelman, so tune in then. I think I'll have a New Year's Eve edition of the Four Corners tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled then. But I'll see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great night, and as always, good luck.